Good afternoon, everyone. My name is François Gauvin, and I will be the presenter for the webinar for this afternoon. I'll be accompanied by Sylvie Maheu. She's one of my colleagues working on GPI, the same files as I do for GPI. Sylvie, can you say hello?
Hello, everyone. My name is Sylvie Mayu. I will be helping François with the questions and answers period. If you have questions, please feel free to have your questions and we'll answer at the question period. Thank you. Have a nice webinar.
Thank you, Sylvie. We're not that many. If you want to say your names in the question and answer box, since you're only 12 per person, if you have any questions, we'll be able to say your name. So hello and welcome. I'll share my screen. Okay, so we're going to talk this afternoon about the transmission of results for online schools. So remembering that the beginning of the year, we had informed you that if you wanted to manage all your students that were following distance learning, that you could create schools dedicated for the this kind of teaching, and you could have had elementary school or secondary. The thing is, what we needed to do is that at the end of the year, because you have transmissions to do, and the transmissions has to be done through the, I'll say, the original school or the official school, we needed to make a link in order for you to be able to transmit, and the ministry has, in order for the ministry to have the proper results. But we know at the same time that the ministry doesn't recognize any online school for now. So we needed to find a way to extract the information from GPI, update JAD, and then transmit to the ministry. So at the beginning, we started by trying to look at SQL queries. We went and looked at, let's say, how we could maybe do a trigger, things that would need less work here at GRICS, but at the end, we ended up with a solution that we think that will be nice for at least this year. And if the ministry in the next years decides that yes, online school will be recognized, then probably the development of a package for this kind of school will be developed in GPI and JAD. But for now, what we've done is making sure that from GPI we can transmit our results to JAD and the ministry. So our mission for today, and it's really to make sure that you have everything you need for your school. I guess my animation wasn't quite okay. And I want to make sure that you understand what we've done in the changes of GPI so that you'll be comfortable with the extraction and importation of all your results. Feel free to ask questions. Sylvie, she's there. If she thinks that she needs to interrupt me, she'll do. But if it's okay, we'll wait for the end to answer your question. Maybe some of you were already there at the on the first meeting webinar that was given on this Monday, June 7th. So it's same thing in English. And the questions that we had on Monday, they were quite interesting, but we're not gonna repeat all of them. So today we'll see what is the online schools in GPI, and we'll go through what we'll do to extract our results, exporting from GPI to JAD, importing in JAD, and exporting from JAD to GPI, and at the end, importing in GPI. So those are all the actions that will be involved to manage your results from online schools. I see that some of you have difficulty seeing the PowerPoint. Can you confirm, Sylvie? Since you're not that many, can you confirm that you see the PowerPoint, please?
Actually, it's Giovanna that doesn't see you, but I was asking if she was seeing the PowerPoint. I'm waiting for her answer.
Okay. Because yes, now I'm projecting the PowerPoint, so that's why you cannot see me. In order to understand the process here in the GPI, when we define the schools, you'll have your official schools and you'll have your online schools. And coming from GPI, we'll extract our student files. With the student file will comes the subjects, and we will be able to extract from the online school. But the main thing is that even though we're extracting from an online school that has a number, actually the files that will be generated to be downloaded by JAD will be with an the extension will be the official school. So we're extracting our student from the online school, and it generates a file with the official school. And then JAD will be updated. From your official schools, we'll do the same process as what we do usually, is that we extract to JAD, and it will create a batch file with all the students of your school with the extension of your school number. So at the end, of course, we'll update JAD. That's for the from GPI to JAD. And you notice that there will not be any link between the online school and the official school. What I mean by that is that we're not going to extract your student results from the online school to update the official school. We're going directly from your online school to JAD. And the official school is not talking to the online school either. It goes directly to JAD. When we're coming back from JAD, so the process, but from JAD to GPI, actually JAD extracts your student file. When we extract from JAD, we create a batch file with all the students and the extension of the school number, and then we'll update our official school. But at the same time, we will also update your online school. So the difference between the two slides is that in the first slide, going from GPI to JAD, your online school is controlling the extraction. So it's controlling when they do the extraction to JAD. And when we're coming back from JAD, it's when we extract the file from JAD, we are updating both schools. We're updating students that are in the official school and students that are in the online school. So if I come back to the first slide, okay, and I'm extracting from the online school. We all know that in your online school, you might have 10 students coming from your school A, 20 students that are enrolled but coming from school B. We will create as many files as there are schools involved. I'm taking back the example with the 10 students coming from school A. So my extraction from online school will create a batch file with the extension of school A with only 10 students. I'll update JAD with my 10 students. I have 50 or let's say 100 students that are enrolled in the official school, school A. I will extract 100 students from my official school, and that will create a batch file with school A in the extension, and JAD will update. So it's done in a different time. It could be done close, but it's not at the same time. When we're coming back and we're extracting from JAD, I've got my 110 students that will be generated into my batch file with the official school A. When we update GPI, it will update the official school, my 100 student from my official school, and my 10 student from the online school. So the control is more like it's JAD that's controlling the return. And there's no link between the online school and the official school, even in the return. So all the subjects that we find into the student file under the online school is in the online school. The reason why we did this also is because in January, the ministry has told us that it is possible to print the report card in the online school with the information coming from the school board. So it wasn't necessary to go back to the official school to print the report card. So because of that, we didn't have to extract from one online school to an official school. Another reason why we didn't do the link between the official and the online with the subject is that we didn't want to extract and then update the official school with maybe students that were inactivated in the official school, and then with the subjects of the students that were inactivated, and then coming back and having to update. It wasn't that easy, and not only that, but we didn't need to. Just want to talk about the online school. In GPI, when we delivered the version 80319, there was a new field that was distance learning school. That was a field that was added in the school table that was allowing you to specify with a check mark that this was a distance learning school. With version 80321 that we just delivered on Wednesday, there was a modification to change the name because we were told that it wasn't exactly the good terminology. So we changed it to online, sorry, online school. It's the same field, but it's called online school now, and it's important that it has to be checked. With the version 8.0.321 came a process that was executed with the console admin. So when the person installed GPI, every time that we install GPI, we also run the console admin. And the console admin is converting the database to the new version. But with this new version, we had a modification done only if there was one student with two student annual record, which was with the same date, starting date. If we in the conversion of 8.0.321, if we had a student with two student annual record with the same starting date, and one of his student annual record was for an online school, because we have a problem with two starting date equal, we updated the starting date of the online student annual record to add 1 day more in order to be able to say that the online school has a starting date greater than the official school. In order to do that conversion, we need version 8.0.319 to be installed first. If you don't have version 8.0.319 installed yet, you're not able to check your online school, your distance learning school. If you're not able to check that when we do our conversion, we won't be able to pick up if it's an online school. So prior to 8.0.321, we strongly suggest to install 8.0.319. And if you already have 319 installed, please make sure that your online school is checked and then install 8.0.321. This is only for students that might have two starting date equal. What we've done now in GPI, we've added a new parameter into our production called exporting students from GPI to JAD. So that activity already exists, and we added the annual records to be selected. That's a new parameter. You have two choices, the online school or the official school. Just so you know, if you have settings like parameter sets that you've done in the past and you saved, they will be still valid. Sorry, they will still be valid. It's just that we will add the new parameter with the default value official school. So that's for the exporting. When you're exporting, if your work session is an online school, or you have in your work session, you don't put in your work session an online school, but you do have a filter that says school equals to your online school, then we'll see what it does. So when we're selecting online school, you know the previous parameter, if we're selecting the online school here, well, only online school will be selected. So if you have a filter that says select all school, well, we'll go into your schools to check each school and look at the new parameter in the school table that says online school if it's checked. If it's checked, then this is an online school. We'll select this one. In order to extract a student from your online school, first of all, the student has to be active. All right. If a student has went from the official school, he was transferred to the online school and came back to the official school, then it's preferable that you deactivate his file in the online school. So make sure that if you have students that have left the online school, please do like you would do in a normal school, action deactivate student annual record. So we're starting with all this, the student file, and we're taking the active students, and we're looking at the annual record of each student to make sure that the start date is greater than the one in the official school. So even though we have two annual record, we're still looking at the start date. If the start date is greater than the one of the official school, we will select the student. So in my example, I have a student with two annual record, and when my online school in that GPI is school number 100. So my online school is 100, and when we look at the annual record, we see that it is a greater, the start date is greater than the official school, which is 057. So I have 1130. That student, I said 1130, 2020 1130, which is greater than 0819. That student will be selected, that's for sure. Another thing that we're doing is that each student that has a corresponding to the previous institution school will be selected. So in my image at the beginning, when I showed you the path from GPI to JAD, I said that we were going to generate a file with the extension of the school number, the official school number. Well, in your online school, when you copied the student annual record from your official school to the online school, we have initialized that field, which is previous institution school, with the institution number and the school number. When it's time to generate, if I take my example, the first student will be part of the file .068. Second student will be part of the file .057. So that's how it goes. We generate the student to JAD in the file according to the previous institution school, the last three digits. And if you have a student that doesn't have a previous institution school, then it's not selected at all. When we're generating our file for JAD, since the online school is not recognized in JAD, we don't want to we don't want to extract a student file or a student annual record addresses to be updated into JAD. So the only thing that we're generating, even though that in the parameters of the extraction, we can select more than just the subjects, GPI will inform you that only the subjects will be generated into the file. The file that will be read by JAD. Last point, we select the subject group as they are in the online school. So student in the official school was in English, section 5, and in the online school is in English section 1, we will generate English section 1 in our file. Because remember that in the process, we update JAD, but it has to be, but we have to return the info to the online school. And online school, sorry, it's section 01. So at the end, when we execute, we should have as many files as there are some official schools involved in the student file. I would have for each, maybe in some case, I might only have one student that will be generated for a school if he's the only one coming from that school, but I could have 10 in another one and 15 in the other one. It depends on the number of students enrolled coming from each school. So what I'm saying here in the last point is that it's the online school that controls the exportation. It's not the official school. It's the one responsible for the online school that will have to extract students from GPI to JAD. If I go back, if I select instead of the online school, I'm still in the extraction from this, sorry, the exporting students from GPI to JAD. Remember my criteria on the school to select. I'm selecting the official schools. Well, when I'm selecting the official schools, it will do exactly what it was doing in the past. There's no, the only difference between now and the past is that when we're selecting a student, if the student has 2 annual records, one in the official school and one in the online school, we'll look at the date, the start date. And if the start date in the online school is greater than the one in the official school, that student is not picked in the in the batch file. But if the start date of the student in the official school is greater than the one in the online school, we'll select the student in the official school. We'll extract what's coming from the official school. So if you try to extract, you're in your work session in, let's say you're in your official school, and you choose to extract and you select online school, there will be no extraction at all. And it's true for the other selection too. If you're in an online school and you select official, there will not be any file created. We're saying again that it's very important that your online school has to be checked in the school table. The remembering also that when I did the copy of at the beginning of the year, when I said copy student annual record, it has updated the institution number and the school number from which the student was copied. And that's important also because this is the field that we're going to use to create the student in the proper file. And at the end, you always have it's something that's already there in JAN. It means that if we're trying to update a student that doesn't exist in JAN, it will be rejected. So that's not new. It's just that we wanted to say that if, for instance, you have a student that was enrolled in your online school that was coming from somewhere else, and you have put manually the institution number, then it will be extracted, but it won't be updated into your JAD. For JAD now, we've done our extraction from GPI. Now, when we want to retrieve the information from GPI, actually, JAD, we didn't do any modification. We're using the same production that you're using right now. JAD, no modification at all. So you're importing your students, but the import is done into the student annual record of the official school. It's always your student file in JAD will always be updated in the official school. So if it's coming from my online school, remember that there's only the subject section in that file because it's something that we make sure that it's the only thing that we have in the file. Importing into JAD will go into the student file in the official school and create the subject section coming from the online school. So afterwards, if it's a secondary 1, 2, or 3, JAD will assign the units and we'll be able to extract from JAD to GPI. Or if we have to send it to the ministry, we'll take the subject sections and we'll send it to the mails. Charlemagne. I just want to say that because there's no link between the online school and the official school in GPI, if you have secondary 4 and 5 students into your online school, don't forget that they have also volets. So make sure that in your online school, for grade 4 and 5, you have not only the global subjects, but the volets also. When we're extracting now, so retrieval from GPI, when we're importing the files, it's always, it could be a file that is coming from an online school or a file that's coming from an official school. It's the same production and it will update the student file in the original school. When we extract, it's the same production, there was no change. We do extract the files and it will create a file name with the extension of the school number. And for JAD, since there's no way to know if the student is coming from an online school or an official school, it extracts all the students from that school. So that was my example before when I said there was 10 students from school A and 100 from school A, but the official. So that makes 110 students at the end. When I'm going to extract, there will be 110 students in my file. Now, that file, when we want to import the students from JAD, we will be in our I'm sorry, we have to be in our official school, and I'm sorry, only on school. Okay. The thing is, I wanted to make a difference between a student that only has 1 annual record and a student that has 2 annual. So the one that only has 1 student annual record, well, there's no change. The student that only has 1 annual record, it should be in the official school and will update the student in his official school. But the one that has 2 annual record, and one of these annual record is in an online school, then we'll check what is the start date of each annual record. And if the start date of the online school is greater than the one of the original school or the official school, we will update the online school. If we have 2 student annual record, but the start date of the official school is greater than the one on the online school, we'll update the official school. And if for any reason that when you're importing, if the student doesn't have the subject group in his file, we will create the student subject with group or section F0. F0 represents the June session. So the only time that we have to create F0 is when we're importing from JAD, but the group doesn't exist. When we're importing and we have 2 annual records, and the start date of the online school is greater, well, we only import the subjects. We will update the subject group alone. Before we go to the last slide, actually, I've went through the entire process. Is there any questions, Sylvie?
Yes, I have a few questions. I'll just look at the. There was a question. I work at online schools for EMSB. Sorry. How will I create a different batch file for each official schools? Will this be explained later? I said it will be explained later. And if I didn't answer your question, you can please write back. The student's mark will be imported from JAD to online school and official school. I answered online schools don't exist in JAD. François will explain this in detail later, how to transmit a GPI online school to JAD. And if François didn't answer the question, you can please write back. But I think he did explain it after the question.
Just want to be precise about this, is that the student file, when we're coming from JAD to GPI, we're updating only one student annual record. The student annual record that we're updating is only the one that, if we have 2, we're going to update the official school if the start date is greater than the online school. And if it's the online school that has a start date greater than the official school, it's the online school that will be updated. And when I say update, it's the subject sections that will be updated.
Thank you, François. I also have questions to know how do we know which version of GPI is implemented in the school board? And I gave them the answer where it's the GPI version is available in the About GPI option from the question mark option in the GPI menu. So that's a way to know which GPI version you do have. Then I have questions. I didn't answer these yet. If my school is not an online school, our students are registered for that school. Our teachers, like last term, did not enter the marks that was done elsewhere and sent a copy of the report card. Is this different from now? I'm not sure I understand the question. Do you understand this one, François?
No, I think, no, I missed the spot there.
I'll repeat it. And
okay.
If my school is not an online school, our students are registered for that school. Our teachers, like last term, did not enter the marks that was done elsewhere and sent a copy of the report card. Is this different now? We're talking about regular schools because they explain it's not an online school.
Okay. The thing is, when I refer to what we did in the beginning of the year, when we said, if you want, you can manage an online school to get all your students in that school so that you can synchronize these students for Mosaic Portail, and then the teachers, and then the parents. But some school board didn't do that because they had few students and they managed these students inside the official school. They didn't create any online. If you didn't create any online school, well, the process is exactly as it is right now. When you're exporting, when you're importing, you're the one controlling the exportation.
This question you might have answered after, François. We received it earlier. So the marks for the students from online schools are not updated in the official school. No, I remember you answered that.
True.
Prenons un élève pour une matière donnée, exemple maths. Son groupe dans son école d'origine est 0,1, qui est la même dans JAD avant l'importation. Ce même élève se retrouve dans une école à distance, mais pour la même matière à un groupe 50. Quand on va importer cet élève dans l'école virtuelle à JAD, comment JAD va se comporter? Le nombre de groupes sont différents.
Okay, well, it's true that if you've done an extraction from GPI, your official school, from GPI to JAD, and it created the section 01. If at that time the student was active in the section 1, then when we're gonna export from the online school, it will create a second group 50 and it will be active. So at that point, when we extract from JAD to Charlemagne, I guess we're sending 2 sections, and I'm not sure. I would need the help of my colleague to tell me exactly how Charlemagne will react. But one thing is sure is that if you deactivate the subject section in the official school of the section 01, then we're okay, because we're going to have the section 01 inactive and section 50 active. And that way, we're sure that we're sending only one to the ministry.
Thank you, François. How can we import students' marks for term 1 who was attending official school to the current online school?
Actually, there's no import-export when you take the case of a student that's changing school in a regular school. There's no copy either. So it's exactly the same way as you're doing right now. You're probably copying the info by entering the results by yourself.
Thank you. So we will have double entries in JAD for the same subjects. We will have 2 different groups. When it's time to transmit, we will then see them in double. That's what you just explained. It answered this question also.
But if you didn't do your extraction from GPI to JAD yet, because this year what we also have is that we didn't have to enroll to the uniform exams, so we didn't have to extract the subjects from the student to JAD in order to send it to the ministry for the exam sheets. But if you did, it's true that you have one section already in JAD, and we need to at least deactivate that section.
Okay, thank you. This is from Lucy. I am not clear as to what to do. I am an official school with approximately 20 students attending the online school. Do I have to do anything at the school level?
Actually, no, because for the school, the official school, when you're going to be extracting, the only thing that you're going to have to do to make sure is that you select the official school, and we're going to send your students that have a student annual record greater than the online school. Well, actually, we're going to send your students, but not the 20 students that are in the online school. JAD will download these students, and in the return, you're going to get back your students from your official school. The only thing which is different is that when you download the file, you don't know, but you're also updating the student in the online school.
Thank you. I'm not responsible for online, regular students only, yet we have students listed who are online. I don't know what the question is exactly.
Yeah, it's true that some students have difficulty codes that are in the online school, but the process that we wanted to put in place is we didn't want school boards to have to copy the results into the official school and then going to JAD. We needed to do something to instead of doing it manually, we wanted to change the export and import so that you don't have that too much work to do.
Thank you. Someone who is identified anonymous, most of them are identified anonymous, so I don't know which question that goes with it. They said the online teachers entered the marks. It would be helpful if people would identify their names for the question period if they can do that. Thank you.
Of course, if you have students enroll in the online school, you have teachers, you have subjects. It's the teachers in the online school that will enter the marks.
Okay, great. This is from Tufik. I have two entries. One is, it says inactive where in JAD? That's one question. And his second question is, so we have to deactivate secondary 4 and 5 subject sections in JAD before importing students from online schools? Is it correct?
I guess, yes, if you don't, let's say that you already have your students with their subjects in JAD, subject sections, and they are active. If before you install 8.0.321, if you deactivate the subject sections in GPI and extract from GPI to JAD, it will deactivate the subject section in JAD. If you don't do this operation in GPI first, and you already have installed the 8.0321, then it's true that you'll have to deactivate the subject group in JAD directly. If you're not sure, Tufik, you can call me back, but we don't want to end up with two active subject group in JAD.
Thank you, François. I have a last question from Lena. Online teachers enter marks in the online school, not in the official school. Actually, it's not a question, it's just a comment. And Tufik answered, it's nice to know.
Thanks, Tufik.
I have no more questions for now.
I hope you SOT do
not have access. SOTs do not have access to JAD. It's from Lena. And someone confirming Lucian's questions, we would not have to do anything if we are the official school with 10 to 12 to 20 students in the online school, correct?
No, you don't have nothing to do.
Great. I have no more questions for you.
Thank you, Sylvie. Thank you all. It's been recorded, so after the webinar, I'll send the copy to a colleague that is responsible for the YouTube GRICS. I don't know how to say it. La chaîne YouTube, comment on dirait ça, Sylvie?
Where we're going to publish the YouTube, the webinar YouTube.
So right after that, we'll be able to put a link on the Zone Client, and you'll be informed that the recording is available on the GRICS YouTube. We'll also put the PowerPoint in the in the Zone Client. We already have a page with the French version. So if you we'll put the PowerPoint there and the access to the recording. I just want to go back with my last slide. Son client, you all know that. If you want to write to Espace Client, and it's about the online school, it would be nice if you could put in the title online school. It's going to be for us to search. It's going to be easier after the end of the year to know how many calls that we had for the online school. And I say thank you all. Have a nice day. Have a nice end of school year. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Au revoir. Bye.
Bye. Have a nice weekend.